Black Panthers in December 1969. Our brother is sitting right here to my right. Brother Pharr, Brother Akila here, who was a very, very close friend, or brother, he will say. Ngozi Somaya was one of the sisters who was also there during that police attack. I think that was the beginning of the history of SWAT in LAPD and so on and so forth.
Yes, right here. Number one, this ceremony is known as the pouring of the libation. And we ask everybody to stand, as most of you are standing. This remember those who died, those who put their lives on the line, those who, when it came down to confronting oppression, to putting their mouths with actions, they had to put up, or they wouldn't be here today. They had to respond to an attack that was made upon them. An attack that came at, I guess, about 3:30 in the morning, rousted them up out of their sleep, shotgun shots coming in the door. Oh, it needs to be, okay, louder. Okay, and what happened is that they responded like they had been trained to do. They didn't expect to do this, but they stopped this first attack by the LA SWAT team. They put them back. It's not that what they sought to do, it's what they had to do. They had to defend themselves against this attack. And this pouring of the libation is in honor of those who are no longer here. Those, not just them, but all of those who have died in the name of righteousness, in the name of doing what is right, and in the name of exercising their Second Amendment right, their right to bear arms, the right to protect themselves against any and all people that may oppress them or attack them.
All right, power to the people.
Power to the people.
So what do you guys want? Blood and guts? What do you want? What do you want to hear? All right. All right. Well, wisdom is easy. You know, the shootout was at a particular point in history. And a lot of people, well, let me regress a little bit. I don't want a lot of people to run out in the streets and think that it's all right to shoot at the police unprovoked. That shootout came at a point in history in America that it wasn't a situation of you're going to get in a shootout with the police or let's go shoot it out with the police. No, this was not the thinking. What you have to understand is that I grew up with the civil rights era. That when I grew up, we didn't have computer games and we didn't have a Nintendo and we didn't have a lot of things that could keep us occupied. So consequently, I believe my generation was a little bit more worldly than your generation is. And what I mean by that is that we didn't have the luxury of a lot of technological support that you guys have today. So a lot of our interactions were one-on-one and with people. So we developed a lot of people skills, which enabled us to go out and tackle this power structure on a grassroots level. The whole country at that time, with the civil rights era, with the assassination of the Kennedys, with the assassination of Martin Luther King, with the assassination of Malcolm X, with the police repression that was going on all over the country and worldwide, apartheid in South Africa, the liberation struggles that were going on in Africa and France, and we were in solidarity with working people all over the world created a set of circumstances that induced us to have a shootout with the power structure, as opposed to us saying we're going to have a shootout with the power structure. So it was a chain of events worldwide that propelled the movement at that time in this direction. And at that particular point in time, America was as close to revolution by the young people as it's ever been since the American Revolution of 1776. In 1968, 1969, this country almost went up by the student movement. And it wasn't just the black movement, it was the solidarity of the Brown Berets, the Students for a Democratic Society, of the Black Panther Party, of the Weather Underground, of the radical student movement and political movement that was all over the country that propelled the forces to have the demonstrations at the 1968 Democratic Convention, to have the demonstrations that were going on all over the country, to have the March on Washington, and to have these confrontations with the power structure all over the country. So it was not just, well, we're going to go out and shoot the police. That wasn't it. That wasn't it. It was a movement that was moving, and we were in direct conflict with the repressive forces of the power structure at that time, at that particular point in time. Now, I'm not here to say that the same circumstances exist today in the exact same nature. You might be ready to fight, you might be ready to die, but is your cause that clear cut where you understand what's going on? Has there been a clear line of demarcation between you and the thoughts of the power structure for you to even say that you want armed rebellion or you want armed resistance? Because when you say that, you really don't know what you're talking about unless you're prepared to die. Now, when you get prepared to die, you can't get that 2013 Mercedes-Benz because you're going to be dead. You can't get that Kia because, you know, you're going to let all that go. You can't get that good gas mileage because you really don't care about this stuff. And that IRA and that good job you have and the benefits you're going to get on your retirement, you're not going to deal with that when you say armed revolution. So I don't want to get here and get in front of you and say you a bunch of bullshit. All right? I want to say you the truth and what's real. When there's been a clear line of demarcation, then you can deal with armed rebellion. And in the 1960s, we had a clear line of demarcation. See, there was a clear line, you know, that we're going to have our rights, we're going to be able to live, and we're going to defend ourselves. And that's a clear line, okay? And if you step across this line, then we're going to do this. And we don't care what happens. You understand? You talk about you're going to lock us up, we already locked up. You talk about you're going to kill us, we're already dead. So the line of demarcation has been drawn. The line in the sand has been drawn. So don't cross it. But is that line visible today? Is what you're doing visible? Is it a clear line for you to say, well, fuck the police? Now, I mean, I clearly am not a police advocate. But at the same time, I believe in life. So I'm not going to front myself off and say fuck the police. I might think that, but I'm not going to say that because I'm not going to put myself out there that way. You understand? Now, if you're willing to put yourself out there, that's your stupid ass. I'm 61 years old. I had a shootout right across the street. I was in the Slaussons. I fought all around here. I've had a long career. If you know me, I've kicked ass for 50 years till I had a stroke. You understand? You don't know me, you know, but by the same token, I am never gonna front myself off. Never will I front myself off. You understand? And I expect you to do the same. Don't front yourself off, because your life, your liberty, your soul is invaluable. And if you're thinking correct politically and economically, you are too valuable to lose on a bullshit tip. We need 50 or 60 years out of you, educating, teaching, explaining, and working with people to create a better society. I don't need you dead at 25 pushing daisies and shit, talking about we're a real good guy. You know, we don't need that. We need you here, if you're thinking politically correct, to teach and educate until we get to that clear line of demarcation. Then we take the next step as a people. We can't take it by ourselves, and we don't need to take it one-on-one and front ourselves off. We need to stay quiet until we get strong enough to step out and make a difference. I don't want to go on and on.
Can you?
Thank you.
I am sure that some of our reporters here, we want you, not any other part of the story, but that day, that very day, December 9, 69, just that morning, what happened, sir? That morning, just that morning.
Well, I'd been in the sewers all day. I was in the sewers. You know, Geronimo, me and Geronimo had talked. And Geronimo had told me that the police were going to raid us. They had just killed Mark Clark and Fred Hampton in Chicago about 4 days earlier, on December the 4th. So Geronimo said we wanted an escape route. We were building a tunnel to Central Avenue right out here. And our plan was to shoot it out with the police as long as possible, get in the tunnel and escape into the community and blow the office. And I'd been in the tunnels that night, and when I got to the office about 2 in the morning, Geronimo was still there, and he said he was glad to see me, that I was back, and he said that we should be raided within the next day or two. And I said, all right, G. And I told him what I had seen in the tunnels, like being in the sewers. We had went around the Hooper Avenue, and I saw a police command post. Hooper's about 2 or 3 blocks to the east of us. And I said, the police, they're out there. He said, all right. So we had our conversation, and he left, and I went to sleep. And about an hour or 2 later, a gentleman woke me up, said, hey, the police are out there, wake up. And as I walked to the front door, the door blew open. And when the door blew open, I jumped to the side, and the police ran by me. And the gentleman that woke me up, Cotton, he went to the gun room, and he got a Thompson. And he came back with the Thompson, and he opened up on them as they were coming through the door. And the force of the bullets jammed them up, but they had bulletproof vests on, luckily, which was good for them and good for us, because we still be locked up. But he opened up with the Thompson, and they bunched up at the door, and as they got bunched at the door, the gun I had just went off. I don't know what happened. And this forced them outside. And once they got outside, we were able to, you know, to hold them off, and then what evolved was a 4 or 5 hour shootout from that point on. And, you know, they blew the roof. I got shot about 5 times, and some other people got shot. Matter of fact, when we went to give up, Peaches, you know, wouldn't none of the guys go outside when we were gonna give up. And I said I wasn't going outside, and Peaches said she'd go. So Peaches was the only one that went, and she gave up for it. So, you know, she came out first, and from that point on, the rest of us came out and we gave up. But basically, that was it.